Welcome to the Powerline Podcast, the official podcast of GreyStone Power. I'm your host, Emily Young, and today we're talking about the careers of linemen. So, let's get started on episode 64 of the Powerline Podcast. Do you have any burning questions about linemen? What is a lineman? Today we're joined by Apprentice Lineman 5, Peyton Thorpe, who will talk about his experience as a lineman. Welcome back, Peyton. Peyton recently joined us back in the episode about the International Linemen's Rodeo. Can you tell us a little about your role?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me back. My role here at GreyStone currently, I'm an Apprentice Lineman 5. In a nutshell, what that boils down to is I can work out of the bucket right now and really at the end of my apprenticeship right before I become a lineman.
Why did you decide to be a lineman?
So my kind of journey to getting here was I was towards the end of high school and I didn't really know what I was going to do. And I had a friend, his stepdad was a lineman, and he was a lineman for AT&T, so I didn't really know the difference. And he kind of sat me down and explained the difference. And I gravitated more towards the power side of it, obviously. And just went from there and kind of got into it, did some research about different schools that I could go to, and went to one of the schools and had an interview with GreyStone right at the end towards the end of the school, and here I am.
Well, we're glad to have you. What kind of training did you have to go through to become a lineman?
As mentioned, I went to a lineman school in Trenton, Georgia, Southeastern Lineman Training Center. I spent 15 weeks there, and I graduated from there in December of 2020. At the end of that, once I graduated, I had already done a few interviews with GreyStone, and I had started with GreyStone February 1st of 2021. And from there, I've been in GreyStone's apprenticeship program, just learning and training.
Wow, that must have been interesting to go through that training during COVID. Speaking of training, we have some great local programs. Can you tell us a little about some of the local training opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely. The first one that jumps to mind is the PCCA. That was kind of introduced right towards the end of my high school career, but I know a little bit more about it now. I follow closely with some of our younger apprentices who went through PCCA, and we have since then hired a lot out of PCCA. There's also West Georgia Technical College's electrical line worker program. That's also kind of sort of like the training school that I went to, and GreyStone actually offers a lineman scholarship where they will offer candidates $7,500 towards any lineman school that's in the state of Georgia. There's an application process that you have to go through on GreyStone's website if anybody's interested.
Be sure to check that out on greystonepower.com/scholarships. So you're an Apprentice Lineman 5. How do the rankings work, and how long have you been an apprentice?
So to break the rankings down as far as a crew level, on a crew you have your foreman, typically a journeyman, lineman, apprentice 5, and then the rest of your steps through your apprenticeship is 4, 3, 2, and 1. Your foreman, he's at the top. He's your head honcho. You typically have a very vetted journeyman under him that kind of helps him run things smoothly. A lineman and an apprentice 5 will be doing your bucket work. Apprentices 3, 2, and 1. Apprentice 3 is an operator role. They will run our line trucks. A line truck is a truck that helps us lift the poles up and put them in the ground. And an apprentice 2 and 1, they're kind of what we call a grunt role. They just help make sure we have everything we need for our jobs, and they're kind of running around learning and helping us get anything that we need.
Let's talk a little about the specialized vehicles that linemen use. What is a bucket truck, and why are they important?
Bucket trucks are an aerial lift tool that we use every day. They're extremely important to help us get power restored to people very efficiently, and they're extremely important in our day-to-day work, whether we're just maintaining, changing poles, or if we have broke poles. It makes life a lot easier for us to be able to get to poles and not have to climb as much and put us more wear and tear on our bodies.
So what you're saying is a normal person couldn't go out and drive a bucket truck, right?
No, you have to have a CDL to drive a bucket truck because they do have air brakes. That is part of the apprenticeship program here at GreyStone. If you get hired on without a CDL, you are in a 6-month probationary period, and within that 6 months, you have to obtain your CDL.
That's super cool. If you go to any lineman events, like a lineman's rodeo, they usually have bucket trucks out there where you can take a ride in the bucket, and it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. So now let's switch a little to storm restoration. Can you explain a little bit about that process if we have a storm?
Absolutely. So basically, what I would break storm restoration down to is 2 categories. You have a normal kind of little storm shows up in the evening, and then you have your disaster mode. So our first part of that is like kind of our normal storms in the evenings. So we have crews that are on call 24/7. We have our primary crews and our secondary crews. Let's say scenario, storm blows through, tree falls, breaks your power line. You call in, our dispatch then knows that the power's out. Then after that, dispatch will call us. We will leave our homes. Once we arrive on the scene, we assess the scene, make it to where it's as safe as possible for us to work on. Then we will go to work, repair the damages that have been done, and then at that point we can resupply power to the customer, and that is kind of your normal restoration mode. When we go into disaster mode, that's kind of when hurricanes hit, ice storms, the stuff that wipes out a mass like bit of our system. And at that point, we have disaster areas that we're all broken down into. It's just different spots on the system. We'll have our crews, contractor crews, crews from out of town, tree working crews that come and they'll go and help us get trees off and just make it to where life's a little bit easier.
GreyStone Power is always working to make life better in the communities we serve, and we deeply appreciate the work that our linemen do. And just a reminder, if you do happen to see a down power line, please don't touch it. Please let somebody know, call someone from GreyStone Power, but do not interact with it. So let's go back to the fun part of being a lineman. We mentioned this a little bit earlier. So what is the Lineman's Rodeo and what's special about it?
So the Lineman's Rodeo is a competition that is put on by, here in Georgia, it's the Georgia Lineman's Rodeo Committee. They put together different events to test our skills, just the skills that we use every day.
And what's your favorite tradition from the rodeo?
My favorite tradition from the rodeo is typically just the bond that we build together, the time we get to practice together. The night before the rodeo, we go down there and we have a cooking team that they cook for all of us and our families, and we all get time to hang out and really get to know each other.
I've been to the Lineman's Rodeo a couple times, and I really love the family atmosphere. People bring their wives, their children, their dogs, and it's just a really fun family event for a weekend. So what's your favorite part about being a lineman?
My favorite part about being a lineman is the relationships that I've gotten to build, just the people I've gotten to meet the last couple of years I've been here, and it's just a really special bond between all of us that, we see each other more than probably we see our own families a lot of the time. And as you can imagine, we grow pretty close to each other.
Thank you to linemen everywhere for what they do. It's a dangerous job and they work very hard. Okay, so we always ask everybody the same last question. Is there anything else you'd like to tell our members?
Yes, if you would, please come and support us at the Georgia Lineman's Rodeo this year.
Unfortunately, we're all out of time for today's episode. Make sure to check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and X. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, available on our website, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Thanks for joining us for episode 64. We'll catch you next time on the Powerline Podcast.